Running it flat-ish, maybe a little goose on the bass on that?
Yeah, I push a little bass up because I leave the wah pedal on all the time.
No, this
I never turn it off.
just gets weirder.
Yeah.
That's
well,
okay.
you know, like.
Yeah.
So like, here's the. I usually play with this tone a lot, and if that's off, it sounds very normal.
Yeah.
But I don't really like that. I like it to bite.
Wow.
Plus, when I use the wah, I don't want to hear the click.
Sure.
I don't want the tone to change so much. Because if I'm usually sitting around here and then turn it on, that sounds very different. So I just leave it on, and when I use the wah, just step on it and work it out.
Wow. Okay, that's a good segue. Let's talk about the rest of this pedal board. So, plugging a coil into the old school coil, love that. And you're running
This is also utilitarian though.
Sure.
Because if I step on a straight cable, I'll trip.
Yeah.
Because there's no give. So I can step on this thing and
all day long.
No worries.
Yeah. And you're running the wah on batteries. You go through them pretty quickly with it being on all the time?
I guess. I mean, I don't really know. I just take the battery out and taste it, and if it tastes like it's not there, I replace the thing.
Yeah.
I try not to leave it plugged in when we're not actually on stage.
Sure, makes sense. Okay, so wah into.
Then right now it's going
mystery.
into this. It's not really a mystery. It's just a green Boss phaser.
Yeah.
And I've been using that for kind of like Isley vibes.
Right.
One of my favorite guitar players, Ernie Isley.
Oh, killer, man.
Yeah, that's the guy right there. A lot of people are like, man, you sound like Hendrix. I'm like, no, I don't.
Yeah.
Hendrix sounds like Hendrix. He's amazing, but I'm trying to sound like Ernie, to be completely honest.
Yeah, that's great.
So it goes into there, and then it goes into this Boss DS1, boutique Boss DS1 stock.
The stock boutique.
Yeah.
They only made a few million of these.
Yeah, only a few million of those. Very standard distortion pedal. I also have everything just basically turned down all the way, except for the level, which is cranked. So
okay.
No disc, no tone, all volume.
And how often do you jump on that? Just
sometimes I'll just leave it on for the whole show. It's certain songs that I don't have it on where it needs to be really clean, but usually it's just on, and if I want to clean up, I just kind of roll it back here.
Yeah.
And when I want a little bit of, dirt, or like, there's this tone we got for the record that I thought sounded like a Wurlitzer electric piano. I was always trying to get that one again, but I think it was just kind of a once-in-a-lifetime thing.
You found it during the session.
Yeah, now I can't
never
find
found it again.
Yeah. It was using this exact same stuff.
Huh.
No different.
Well, if you're going to find it one time, that's
Right.
the time to use it while you're recording.
But
Okay.
I usually use this in conjunction with the wah a lot to get those kind of like, that kind of stuff. Where you just kind of put it in a spot and leave it, or do some sweepy bits.
Yeah.
Kind of like a synth.
Sure. Yeah, very non-conventional approach. Let's see. Okay, so from the
from the distortion it goes into this mini Boss Dynacomp.
Yeah.
And that just keeps everything the same level.
Yeah.
I put it after everything and before the spatial effects like reverb and delay.
Sure. And it looks like you're running most of the output and very little of the sustain on it.
Yeah, I mean it still compresses even at that small setting.
Sure.
It's just the nature of what that pedal does.
But fairly subtle. To me it doesn't, you're not feeling that compression.
Right.
But yeah, that sounds great.
Just enough. And then it goes into this EHX Holy Grail.
Oh, okay.
Usually set around noon or 1 o'clock or so. It just depends on kind of where we're at in the set.
Okay.
That always stays on. Just like the Dynacomp always stays on.
Okay.
Into a Strymon El Capistan with this pedal controlling the repeats.
Okay.
So you can do stuff like, and just let it go, or it can kind of comp for me in this kind of weird way. And I can just turn it off and.
That's great. Well, and particularly in a three-piece, you're covering a lot of ground,
Yeah,
a lot of sonic territory.
and I don't want to have to rely on like loop pedals or
Yeah.
drum machines or laptops and stuff. So
Yeah, that's a great way to do it because you're controlling in real time. And if something is not going how you want it, you just cut it right there.
Indeed.
Yeah, that's great, man. And powering this with?
On the bottom of the board, there's a Ciox
Oh,
DC5.
okay. Oh, cool. Wow, it's like no imprint at all. It's just tiny.
Yeah, I'm actually trying to make it even smaller. I'm like, what can I make? What can I take off of this thing?
Wow, I don't know. That is about as lean as it gets. That's great. I mean, particularly, again, when you're covering that much sonic territory, to do it with so little, that's great. And it seems like you're just adjusting on the fly mostly on your guitar.
Yeah, it's usually just right here.
Yeah.
The volume knob gets a lot of work.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Well, in your tone, rolling it down, that's great.
Yeah, just it depends on the song. Usually flipping between either this one, this pickup, the neck,
Yeah.
or the really weird out of phase one,
Yeah.
or this guy for like kind of country sound stuff. People everywhere is always on this guy. Oh wait.
Oh, great.
I was hearing a little bit of a signal thing happening just then.
Yeah, and you're using the tremolo from the amp with it. Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to use the Verb, but I think I got into the habit of using that because we were touring overseas and backline amps, the reverb wouldn't always work.
Sure. Yeah. Well, God, it sounds great.